Hi Thomas. Obviously just a couple of days from the defeat on Sunday. Is this now just an opportunity to kind of put things right after that?
Yeah, I think that's a good thing with playing games so shortly after each other. So you just progress and move on to the next one. I think the good thing with the Villa game was overall a very good performance. Also, when we looked back, so I'm pleased with a lot of things there. Now we just need to take a lot of the bits into the game tomorrow against Monaco, which is a very good team with very good players. They already started the campaign, I think, quite well with a draw here against City. Last year they beat Villa, they beat Barcelona. Clearly a very talented team. And
obviously Romero wasn't involved in training today. Do you have any kind of more on his situation?
Yeah, it's a doctor strain. We will assess it more this week before we come with any time frame.
And Kevin, obviously stepping in for Christian, it's not just a kind of important player and a leader that you're stepping in for. It's also a player that offers so much with the ball as well. Are you kind of thinking about that and those kind of passes that he plays and stuff in your role also?
Definitely, but also just, try to fulfill the role as best as I can, Obviously, he's a very important player for us. For me, it's just doing a job, defending first and foremost, and trying to replace him in that instance as best as I can. And I think it was an okay game, and unfortunately, we didn't get the result we wanted to, but the aim is to win here tomorrow.
I think Kevin played a very good game against Villa.
Hi, Thomas. Should fans be concerned with Coutie's injury?
Say again?
Should fans be concerned that Coutie's got an injury? Because it was sort of this time last year he got the one injury and it become a long-term thing.
No, I don't think so. For me, it's a doctor strain. We assess him this week, and then we'll know more.
And just with Monaco, they obviously changed manager about sort of 2 weeks, 10 days ago. How kind of difficult has that made preparation? A new manager coming in, you obviously have what he did last year at Union, but it's going to be hard.
Yeah, I think of course it's hard, but of course we studied Pocognoli and his team in Union and did very well. They won the championship in Belgium. So that's what we do. We look at the last game they played, and then more or less, not all, but a lot of games from Union, also in this Champions League campaign as well. So we have, I think, a good idea of what they want, but also we know that the very talented players speak for themselves, also under the former manager when they played 2-2 here against City. So it's a tough test, but we're up for it. We trust ourselves. We think we're in a good place, and we will do everything we can to win the game tomorrow.
Hello, Thomas. Can I start with one for you, please? Is it fair to say you're still sort of trying to fine-tune, find just the right formula, or is it never going to be that you settle on a formula that you like and you stick with?
It depends, and I think it's fair to say that we are relatively early days in the time with all of us together here. I think there is, in my opinion, a lot of progress in a lot of areas. For example, I think we defended fantastic against Villa overall, and I think we in general look very good in high pressure, aggressive. I think we were very aggressive, very intense against Villa as well. And I think offensively we still scored quite a few goals if you compare that to the league, which is about to get them into the back of the net. Then you could say that play, let's say, 3 games in a row with completely free-floating top football. How many teams do that right now in the Premier League? If you can name me 3, it would be nice. But we and I are aiming for the perfect game every single game. That's what we want to do. But we know what we are working at, and I think we are progressing nicely.
May I ask you just one about Xavi, because you answered one after the game on Saturday about him, and when we were sort of looking at fluency from open play and creativity, he's sort of the one a lot of people were looking at. Can you talk a little bit about the difficulties when you're in his particular position of coming into a different tempo and a different style? Because he's not the only one. If you look at Wirtz at Liverpool, who's come from Germany, who's a big money signing, who's just taken a little bit of time to get the rhythm.
I think that's a very good question. Also, a very good comparison with Wirtz. That also a very good player, just like Xavi, a very good player, coming into a couple of things: new country, new club, new city. Just need to settle in, and it is part of it. We're all getting judged every game, but we also need to see the little bit bigger perspective and see it over time. And I always look for glimpses and bits and pieces we're working at. So, for example, Xavi, I think there were some good bits and work with him and ask him to be more arriving in the box, which when I looked the game back, he did. Was that the big eye-catching moment? No, but there was good glimpses. So I think it's constantly going a little bit in the right direction.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Thomas. Has Destiny Udogie travelled for the game?
No.
And what's the latest with him, please?
The latest is that he got that knee irritation after the international duty that we are assessing and working very hard to get on top on. And we'll know more probably day by day or in the next week.
Okay, thank you. And in terms of the away form at the moment, it's really strong compared to the home form. Is something you put that down to at the moment? Because apart from the Super Cup, you haven't lost away.
I think we didn't lose in open play either. Yeah, I think if we I don't know exactly if it also depends on who you're facing the teams. That can be home and away. I know home you may be playing a specific way and other teams are playing in a specific way against you compared to when you go away, and then the team opening a little bit more up so you can hit them a little bit more on the counter, so you don't have to create everything from scratch and 11 players behind the ball. But I just think definitely away from been very good in terms of what we said before. I think we've been extremely good in the foundation in football in terms of we have a good base in the middle, low block, and also very high. I think it's very important that we probably have most aggressive teams in the high pressure, and I think that's a big part of why we also are quite good away from home. And we need to continue tomorrow against a very good team, but we are up for that.
Thank you. And just one for you, Kevin. A bit of late notice on Sunday to come in for Christian Romero. Has that ever happened to you in your career where you've had to sort of dive in late and then really put in a good performance after that?
Yeah, it has. I think I'm experienced enough, old enough now to deal with whatever comes in the game of football. Things happen that are unexpected, but I felt ready and I was ready, and I'll always be ready when the gaffer needs me, and that's what I try to do in the game.
Tom. Hi, Thomas. Just following up on what you said about there aren't many teams sort of playing free-flowing football. I think that's right. Why do you think that is at the moment? Is it lack of training time, the way the game's going? What do you think?
Oof. That's a big question. Please prepare me next time for a big question like that. I was looking, and this is with the biggest respect to Villa, for example. I know they won the game, but I think they're a very good team, and I think they also on that top they've been extremely free-floating, but they didn't really create anything. I know they scored 2 goals, so it's just like, and I think both teams also we didn't create massive chances against Villa, but enough. Both teams, try to cancel each other out. There's me looking at it, but I got a big coaching staff. I don't know how many analysis guys that's also helping, and so I think every team prepared so well to try to cancel each other out. It can be something with training time. It can be. I haven't thought about that. And I think depending on teams, I think there is part of that relationship. Kevin knows that if you work together constantly in the back four, you play every game and you have 2 in front of you, how do you hit them with the right passes? So I think there's some of that where a team then suddenly click. And then even with the best team, suddenly they play 3 very good games, and then they're like a little bit of flow. So it's a little bit up and down always.
I mean, is it? I don't know if easy is the right word, but is it kind of quicker to sort of instill the defensive principles, whereas the attacking blend sort of takes a bit longer?
I think yes, because I think it's relatively easy-ish to do the defensive bit, because you need to have your key principles in what you want to do in high pressure, middle pressure, how to defend the box, installed mentality of sprint back, recovery runs. I think that's one thing, but offensively there's a lot of patterns, there's a lot of things you need to click, and you also, how can you say, try how is the right blend with the players, who is connecting well. That's also part of it, I think.
Okay, just lastly, sort of linked to that, can I just talk about the midfield balance, whether you're happy with that kind of tactically? There's been a sort of an idea that maybe some of the passing's been not quite ambitious enough from central midfield. Is that something you agree with? Is something you're working on?
I think in general I've been overall happy with the midfielders that's played so far this season. Of course, we always want passes through the lines or diags or balls in behind, but I think overall I'm quite happy.
Right. Hi, Thomas. Brennan Johnson scored arguably the most important goal in the club's history. He started the season really well, but he just seems to have kind of fallen away. Is it as simple as that you prefer Mohamed Kudus on the right at the moment, or can you provide some context as to why Brennan hasn't really had many opportunities?
I think for me Brennan is a very important player. As you say, fantastic, important goal last season. Also the top scorer, I think, in the club last year, as I remember it. Also started the season well. He has scored 2 good goals. So again, probably a little bit down to how do we put the players out that make it fit. But Brennan trained very well the last couple of weeks, doing what he's doing very well, scoring goals in training, which is important to keep showing that I'm not taking the right decision if he's not in the team. I think Brennan can play both to the left and to the right, as we said before. Of course, Mohamed Kudus has done very well on the right, for example. And then on the left, I actually think Wilton have done well. So it's just a little bit of competition. Brennan just needs to keep going. He will get his games.
And just on the system, I think it's easy for maybe us and fans to question the system after a defeat. But just going back to the Super Cup, when you played the back three, it seemed to be a template that really worked and Spurs looked really sort of strong and efficient. Have you considered sort of using that or going back to that, or do you think the 4-3-3 will still be the main system that you operate with?
I've showed before, for me it's not about the system. For me it's the guiding principles. I think right now I still think the 4-2-3-1 is the go-to, depending on types. And as I said, I think if we won that game against Villa 1-0, which we easily could have done, would everyone be happy? So I think the performers were overall good, very competitive. So I'm happy with that. I'm very aware that we need to add extra layers, which we're working on.
And just a quick one for Kevin, if that's all right. Obviously, on Sunday, the challenge involving Lucas Dean, clear that you didn't mean it, but it was quite a nasty injury in the end, and Lucas seemed to make his frustrations known with the fourth official. Did you get the chance to speak to him after the game? I know it wasn't there was no malice in the tackle whatsoever, but obviously quite a nasty cut in the end.
Yeah, I mean, these things happen in football. Of course, there was no ill intent, nothing behind it. It's just an unfortunate situation. I apologised to him while he was on the floor because I felt that I did catch him, but I clearly cleared the ball, and then with the follow through, which does happen in football. Sadly, I saw the picture of his ankle, and I didn't have a chance after the game, but I apologised to him on the pitch, and I would like to apologise to him publicly as well. Obviously, no malice, no nothing behind it, and my intention is never to injure anybody. But yeah, I think it's just part of football, sadly. Yeah.
Thank you.
Final one in the back, please.
Hello, Kevin. Just in front of you. It's possible in French?
Yeah.
Quelle différence tu vois déjà? Est-ce que tu as pu voir un peu des
difference between Monaco, which you knew and you knew very well in the past, and Monaco perhaps that you've seen at the moment, that you've watched video-wise? Yes, it's difficult to say because there's a new head coach, but when Adi Hutter was the head coach, I saw that Monaco were playing very well. Perhaps not like they were this season, but that's football. Sometimes things go well, they're a lot easier. This campaign, it's been not easy, a little bit difficult, but they've still played very good football. So I think it's difficult to say because there's a new head coach here. and they haven't really played many games together. What are the biggest threats? What do you consider the biggest threats that Monaco possess? I think they have a lot of players who are very clinical, particularly in attack. I think if we defend well, I think we can win the game.
Okay, thank you very much.